Here's a quick guide from Lord Garbelius for those that don't want to watch the full video. He offers a different insight to characters, which is always much appreciated, and so make sure you drop down in the description and show him your support with his Patreon, which is linked down below. What's up everybody, Soul here with another Sword of Convallaria video, and today we will be taking a look at SP Rawiyah, or Rawiyah Nostalgia, and building a guide and talking about what makes her good and how she can impact your gameplay. So yeah, this character has been fantastic, phenomenal, and a lot of fun. I can't say enough good about her. The versatility and what you can do with her. I love characters like this where you can play several different ways and you have lots of options. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. First things first, we're going to take a look at her trait. And so Sunny Spirit. After hitting with an AoE attack, Rawiyah can act again and receives fatigue. For each one enemy damaged by the skill, she gains 1 stack of stamina. Fatigue lasts until the start of the next 3 turns. Stamina stacks up to 10 times. So yeah, exhausted. So debuff, cannot trigger trait, act again for another time. Cannot be dispelled and ignores immunity. And then stamina, it's a mark for each 1 stack. Crit increases by 1% and cannot be dispelled and ignores immunity. When you have 10 stacks, your damage is increased by 10%. When you have 20 stacks, your damage is increased by 10%. And when you have 30 stacks, damage and crit damage are both increased by a further 10%. So it's pretty good trait right there. Really interesting. Okay, when you go and you look at her levels here and ranks as far as star level, you can clearly see that it gets better over time. At 2 stars, the fatigue lasts until the start of the next 3 turns. Stamina stacks up to 20. So instead of stacking up to 10, it goes up to 20. And then down here, stamina stacks up to 30 times. For each one you hit with a skill, you additionally gain 1 stack. That's pretty good. And then down here at the bottom, your fatigue lasts until the start of the next turn, which is a huge difference from up here at rank 1. Your fatigue lasts for 3 turns. Down here at 4 stars, it drops down, and your fatigue lasts for 2 turns, which actually happens at 3 stars. But at 5 stars, you only have until the next turn. That's phenomenal. That's dramatically different. She can use that big act again trait, part of her trait, over and over again, essentially. Really, really important to get this character 5-starred. And then another thing I have to stress is that act again with that fatigue, you might try to use Nana and her act again to override it, and so on and so forth. It does not do anything to affect her act again off of her trait or take an extra turn away from it. As far as that cooldown, waiting 3 turns, 2 turns, whatever it might be, that Inanna's act again has no impact on Rawiyah's trait. So that is her trait. Really, really good. As I said, important to get it 5 stars as soon as possible. With that said, let's have a look at her ranks. At rank 1, you have 2 options. On the right, you have Gale Void Slash. This is a passive. After actively dealing physical damage, it deals 15% physical damage to all enemies within 2 tiles of the character, inflicting 1 random level 2 debuff for 2 turns. This can be triggered 3 times per round. So this is a really interesting and good ability. I obviously have it, and I enjoy it. It creates another level of complexity in the character and more versatility in what she can do to synergize with other characters like Dandelion. And so yeah, I picked it up. I do not advise picking up this ability as your priority. I would advise picking up Gale Piercing Clouds. This is a physical damage instant. It selects a location within a cross shaped range of 3 tiles around the character and performs a charge, dealing 50% damage to enemies pass through and stealing 1 buff. That being really cool right there. Upon hit, it reduces the cooldown on this skill by 1 turn and increases the damage of the next active skill by 15%. Really, really good. I've been able to use this ability, mind you, pairing with Coco back to back to back to back to back. And it's an instant, so it's just free damage. And then the fact that you get to charge through them, you absolutely do. You can charge through opponents, end up on the other side of them, and then steal in those buffs. Really, really big. great ability right here. And this is what I'd suggest you to get. If you got the Castalia and you're interested in it, get your Void Slash as well. At rank 3, you have on the right, Police Lasso. This is something I'm interested in testing and checking out, but I would not suggest getting otherwise. And it is a support instant and inflicts restraint. And then attack down 2 and no assist on the target for 2 turns. Additionally, inflicts stun for 2 turns on targets with restraint. It can be used 3 times. And so this is really interesting ability right here. And so it can only be used 3 times per battle and has a 3-turn cooldown. However, if the target already has restraint, it will stun them for 2 turns. And restraint is a control disruption. It reduces speed by 100 points and they're unable to move. So yeah, this is an interesting ability that I would love to test and check out. However, I would suggest you get Mobile Crew on the left, which is a passive and increases your speed by 100 before attacking. If the target speed is lower than the character's, it increases the damage dealt by 10% and ignores the target's reaction skill. You have more immediate return out of this ability as of right now. When we get more characters that can restrain targets, and we can see some clear synergies there, this ability may pick up in value, but as of right now, Mobile Crew is what I'd suggest you to pick up at rank 3. At rank 5, you have Vital Guard on the right, and so that's a reaction when hit by an active attack. Damage taken is decreased by 8%. We see this in other characters. It's a pretty decent ability, but I would highly suggest you to pick up I'm Mad Now on the left. And so this is a reaction where Rawiyah gains Resolve. When an ally is defeated in battle, the character recovers all HP and gains damage 3 and damage reduction 3, lasting for 2 turns, which is a 30% buff to the damage and decrease in damage taken. But Resolve, the character returns to the battle after being defeated, recovering some HP. Really, really good. This effect can only be activated once per battle, but it is good. So the Resolve part can only be activated once per battle. However, the buff here is different. She will recover all HP and gain those buffs anytime an ally is defeated in battle. Up here at rank 7, you have on the right, Gale Draw Blade. This is a passive. When movement plus charge distance is no less than 4 tiles, she recovers 1 energy after attacking. If the target is defeated, she additionally recovers 1 energy. For each effect, can be triggered up to 1 time per round. This is a really cool passive. I've utilized this a little bit. I think when she gets to be 5-star, it will absolutely have a bigger role. I did enjoy having this, but then I ended up having a lot more energy than I necessarily needed. But there is benefits to using this, especially if she's going to be just a blink tank and just have high mobility and keep moving around and keeping your character's zone and so on and so forth. This ability really does a lot for you and helps you avoid taking Guidance of the World as like a tarot to keep your energy up. This is a really cool ability that I would highly suggest spending Castalia on if you've got extra. However, on the left is what I would absolutely urge you to pick up at rank 7, and that is Gale Sword, Chaotic Flurry. This is basically her ultimate main ability. It's physical damage, deals 3 hits of 25% damage to all enemies within a 5x3 area in the target direction. After actively casting any skill 1 time, the damage of this skill is increased by 3 hits to 35% damage, and after casting any skill 2 times, the damage of the skill is increased to 50% damage, lasting until the end of the turn. Really good, strong AoE ability. At a 4 energy cost, it seems like a lot. However, you will see that you will absolutely have that energy more often than not, especially if you pair it with Gale Draw Blade. But regardless, this ability smacks. I will show you that later in the video. At rank 9, you have your basic attacks. Of course, you have Powerful Attack on the right, which deals 110% physical damage. But I would urge you to get Try the Punch, which for a basic attack. And so this is a single target attack that does 85% physical damage, knocking a target back 1 tile. After attacking, it switches to Get Out of My Sight, which is a skill that selects 1 enemy within a cross-shaped range around the character and charges to their side, and deals 110% physical damage, knocking them back by 2 tiles. Upon collision, it inflicts stun on the skill target for 1 turn. Really, really good ability right here. I've used this many times. Obviously, it's a basic attack, but it is good. It feels good. It's definitely far superior to powerful attack, in my opinion. And then at rank 11, you have Hunting Impulse. We've seen this on other characters. Good single target attack with 130% damage modifier. Before attacking, increases your crit by 15%, and if you defeat him, you get 3 energy. There's nothing wrong with that. However, Fancy Footwork is finally here on a legendary character. And let me tell you something. I suggest all day, every day you get this. I love it. The amount of things you can do with Rawiyah because of this is astronomical. So I absolutely suggest you get this. Take 50% less AoE damage and gain dodge for 2 turns. It's really good. 2 dodge for 2 turns. Really good ability. One of my favorite in the game. And so with that said, let's make sure we have a look up here at her SP skill. Now, when you get her to 3 stars and Rawiyah the same, you're going to unlock another pint, which is an instant. It's a healing. Recovers 6% of the character's lost HP and gains tipsy, armor piercing, and lasts for 2 turns. She gains 10 stacks of stamina. I haven't had this yet. I haven't tested this yet, and I look forward to getting it, but it's going to be quite a while. However, it seems like something that would absolutely have a place on her in a damage dealing comp, because she definitely is going to want armor piercing in her attacks. And then of course tipsy in itself is really powerful by increasing your crit by 30%, and then decreasing damage taken is really good. And then 10 stacks of stamina, why not? Like, you just get it for free. Really good ability. I can't wait to get it and to test it out and to see what it does for her when she's dealing damage on the team. With that said, let's take a look at her weapons. Now, her number 1 weapon, Gale Sword. This is physical attack and increases by 2%. After attacking, the character's crit damage is increased by 9%, lasting till the end of the turn. She gets to attack multiple times within her turn. That is one of her signature traits, and so this sword fits into that and will be absolutely massive for allowing her to do big damage. At 5 stars, which we get this for free, her physical attack is increased by 10%. After attacking, the character's crit damage is increased by 21%, lasting until the end of the turn. An absolute must. Obviously best in slot. It is her signature weapon. Coming in at number 2, you have 2 options that you are tied for. And so Feast Axe is absolutely one of those options. I think this is her best in slot damage dealing weapon. If the target's HP percentage is lower than the character's, when attacking, increases attack by 15%. The character recovers 20% HP when defeating an enemy. So recovering HP is really good and beneficial. However, the fact that she can attack multiple times, it's easier to guarantee that the target's HP percentage will be lower than hers in normal battles, especially where you're using her and you want her to do big AoE hits. Generally, you're going to be fighting lots of enemies that don't have massive HP bars, and so this is where she comes in, and she's going to do it in a really big way and look good with this Feast Axe if you, for whatever reason, you cannot get her unique weapon. Next, I'm going to talk about the Brutal Axe, and so I think this is her best in slot weapon if she's going to be blink tanking, and that increases her HP by 10% when attacking the enemy's HP percentage. If the enemy's HP percentage is higher than the character's, it ignores 40% of the character's defense. Really decent ability. That extra 10% damage, HP is really big on her while she's blinking. It's going to make her more sturdy. And then, of course, when attacking, if the enemy's HP percentage is higher, which is a good chance that could absolutely happen with her being the target of so many attacks, she's going to, ignore 40% of their defense. Pretty decent weapon for that reason. And then I think coming in at 3rd is going to be the Tuning Hammer. And so that increases your physical attack by a flat rate and dispels 2 buffs on attacks. Once again, I can't stress it enough. I think Gale Sword is her absolute number 1 best in slot. Moving over to Trinkets, I think her best in slot is Maverick's Cloak. The reason I think that is because her playstyle and the way that she operates is that you want her to rush into the opponent or in and around the enemy's group or picking up stragglers, whatever it may be. Her mobility and ability to attack multiple times is massive, and especially with that fancy footwork, you might as well, or you have her out there getting in behind the enemy and around the enemy, moving ahead of the team, smacking them. You got to resolve to keep you alive even if you die. And then, yeah, if an ally dies, which summons count, she gets a full heal. And so that's really, really big, really, really important that she's out there and getting into it. And so finally we have a character other than Cole who genuinely benefits massively from this Maverick's Cloak. And in my opinion, she does it better than Cole. No offense to Cole, still a great character. But Maverick's Cloak is her best in slot, in my opinion. And then coming in behind that, I think Flying Blade Arm Guard is a good option on her. I think this is a trinket that is absolutely adored and loved by everyone in the Sword of Convallaria community. So much so that you almost get tired of seeing it recommended everywhere and all the time. It's a genuinely good item. And it's genuinely good on her because it allows her to more easily get those 2 hits in for her ultimate to be procced, which is genuinely and usually a non-issue. However, you may find that you need this and want it, and so this does come in at a very decent, good option on her. Number 2 in my opinion. I think tied at number 2, and this is if you're doing damage, by the way, I think tied at number 2 is Spring Pill. This is a trinket that I've never really been too fond of. However, on my blink tanks, I find that I do like it. I like that extra bit of healing. I like that it can remove debuffs and it can be used multiple times in battle. And so that is a specific niche. As you can see, this one's on Recruited Assassin. I will put it on her if she is specifically to blink tank in certain scenarios and settings where I feel debuffs are an issue. And so I think this is a good, strong number 2 option for blink tanking. And I'll explain what that is later a little bit more. If you've seen my other videos, which I'd urge you to go check out, you see that I often talk about zoning, controlling, and blink tanking. I do plan on doing a whole video on that, but regardless, I digress. This is a great option for that. And then I think number 3, best in slot for her, is Cooling Powder. There's been several situations where I've been in where she has picked up a no healing received because she's out there in advanced position, soaking up damage in different ways. She'll pick up this debuff, especially from those AoEs, from those breakers, and so on and so forth, like Stormbreaker. It's really, really tough to get her to heal, even from her reaction, and so that's a big deal. It stinks. And so for her not be able to heal stinks, and this is a good number 3 choice in slot, in my opinion, to help avoid that scenario from happening. Moving on, for Resonance, I think it's important that you go with Sword and Cup for your lifesteal and sustain. Alternatively, you can go with Sword and Wand for extra damage and mobility. The more you move, the more damage you're going to do, and Rawiyah is highly mobile. Looking at Tarot Whispers, I think you have quite a few options here, and it really depends on what she's doing on your team. And so I'm going to list a couple different things she can do on your team in reference to these Tarot Whispers, because it's hard to value them from first to last, depending on, you know, just for pure value in general, when she can do different things and different ones serve different purposes to those things. With that said, I really like the Dream of Magician on her for damage. Obviously, she does AoE damage and in a big way, and so when you're doing AoE damage with her ultimate and main attack, this is your best in slot. Doing increased 8% damage, and when casting a skill for each additional enemy hit, you do an increased 4% up to 12, and then of course if you add that hidden effect, that goes from 8 to 24 for each enemy hit. Really, really big for those AoE hits, and obviously for her, it does a lot for her. Now, if you're using her and you're just wanting to blink tank, then that changes a little bit. You have 2 options for that one. I think Redemption of Judgment is a very good option. This dispels 2 buffs from enemies, and it puts on a debuff of Judgment, and that increases the damage they take by 10%. This is a big deal, and she's up there and in the fray and soaking up damage or avoiding damage, so to speak. This is a good option because it's just you're applying debuffs to those opponents around her for free and for nothing just by being there. So this is a really good option. And then of course another good solid option is just to increase her crit rate and crit damage, because even though she's up there blink tanking, she's not just casting blink over and over again. She is going to be absolutely dealing damage and hitting on the occasion. And so Verdict of Justice gets that that damage out there and gives her some versatility as far as doing damage while blink tanking. So these are two really good options for her while she's blinking, and for those reasons I would recommend those 3 tarots above all else. And then coming in behind that, you do have other options like the devil, Temptation of the Devil. There's nothing wrong with this. If you're clearing lots of enemies, which is generally what she does, and you're proccing this and you're getting lots of devil stacks off of it, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a good solid choice. I do think it's less valuable than the others, and for that reason I list it after them. However, this is a solid choice for her if those others aren't options for you, or maybe you can't find a good tarot in one of those others, or you just prefer devil. Some people love devil's tarot over everything. There's nothing wrong with that. With that all said and done, I want to talk about her and her ability and her roles on the team. She plays 3 roles in my opinion. She can be a debuffer / single target hitter. She does a little bit of AoE with her debuff, but it's not her niche. It's not necessarily what you're targeting. And she's still blink tanking and offering a little bit of versatility in that. The second one is that she's an out and out blink tank. She goes out there and she avoids the hits, doesn't get smacked, gets in and around the enemy and distracts them, helps zone and control them. Really, really good. And then the last one is just all out AoE attack. Get in there, hit them hard, kill as many as you can, get out, reset, do it again. No matter which one you choose, these 3 playstyles are really good. I'm going to show you one of them right here in this battle. So this battle is great. You get 2 extra characters, which I'm just going to stick them to the side and ignore them. However, our enemies are all clustered up. In some maps, this is a situation where you're going to actually have, and it really works to your benefit with damage Rawiyah. And you want to put the damage out, and you want to AoE smack people, you want them to be clustered up. And so as you can see, they are. She rushes in. Boom. We get the instant, the dash. She uses her basic attack, knocks him back, and then here's our big AoE hit. Great damage. So we took out a flag and 2 opponents there and weakened the others quite a bit. As you can see, Sophia's on the team and Dandelion. These characters have a lot of synergy with Rawiyah in my opinion, and I would suggest you tag her with them if you have them, especially Sophia. Sophia really, really important and big because she can summon, and when she summons that unit to fight for her, it only lasts 2 rounds. Once those second rounds up, it automatically dies, and that counts as a death to trigger SP Rawiyah's reaction. So there's not many left. This is probably the class. This is absolutely the fastest I've ever cleared this fight. It's really, really good and enjoyable. Really nice right there. Gotta love Rawiyah. She gets access to this ability right here thanks to SP Rawiyah. Void slash. Gale Void slash. Really, really good. We're not too fussed about that. We walk around it. We dash through them. Steal in their buffs if they have any. Get that basic attack and then get that second attack. Really good. This fight's over before you even know it. Fastest clear I've had on it. Really, really good. As a bonus, I'm going to show you another fight where I'm going to highlight her versatility. In this fight, she's going to act as a blink tank and helping to zone and control enemies a little bit. Generally the same team comp. That synergy looking at Sophia and Dandelion. Coco is just a must-in. I got her 5 stars. She just does so much for the team. It's hard to ever take her out. And then once again, Inanna's act again doesn't impact Rawiyah's trait, and so she is becoming less and less of an important character in some fights and situations. I'm not really too fussed with her being from Iria as well and benefiting in some ways from Dandelion's aura. Here come the wolves. We got Rawiyah and Coco over on the left to take care of all those enemies. Regular Rawiyah, she can do a lot of damage to a lot of enemies in AoE setting situations, so we're not worried about her. She's going to go over there and just smack them up, and Coco's going to provide the cover she needs. Here comes SP Rawiyah. She got that instant, dashed in. Look at these multiple hits she gets. Really, really good, all in one turn. And then she's blinked, so she avoids damage too. Here comes a summon from Sophia. We're just clearing them out. It's good stuff. She can handle the hits. It's okay. We just dodged that. Really good. More wolves? Yeah. Let's get her in a better position. Knock him down. SP Rawiyah just spends a turn to get her blink up, so we can zone and control. Now the summon dies, and boom. Her resolve is triggered, or her reaction is triggered. Beautiful. It's unlocked either Archer moving that way. It would have been better if he'd stayed up where he was, or maybe tried to move a little bit closer. But that's okay. We're still going to go down there and smack him with Rawiyah. Here comes SP Rawiyah. She's going to press up a little bit, knocks him down. It's nothing. Now we're in a good position where they're going to try to attack her, hopefully. Get her tipsy on. And AoE smack. And there's that Void Slash. Thank you, SP Rawiyah. Really good stuff. That blink does not help with AoE attacks, and you see that just went through that. Or it does not help to avoid them, but it does reduce the damage taken by 50%. We refresh that blink. Good stuff. We dodge that attack. No issues there. Finish that off. Arm blade. Really good stuff so far. Some general cleanup. We don't mind taking that hit. Coco comes down, gives a little smack. Rawiyah gets ready to dish out some big damage. Does not disappoint. A little Stormbreaker action with that Gale Void Slash. Good dash in. Boom, we hit like that. And we get the stun, but it doesn't matter because she dies. Really good stuff. And this is where the fight's going to end right here. Swap places. And activate the Hangman mark. Finish them. So yeah. 2 fights in this video illustrating 2 different playstyles. One in which SP Rawiyah goes in and just smacks everyone, is a damage dealer. And so this is maybe how you'd want to set her up in that instance, in that situation. And then the other one, of course, is where she goes in and she is more of a blink tank. And so when that happens, maybe you want to swap out her ultimate, maybe you don't, but you want to put in this ability right here, Gale Draw Blade, which I do recommend spinning Castellion. Regardless, this character is phenomenal. To finally have fancy footwork on a legendary character has sent me over the moon. The amount of things that you can do with this character has easily rocketed her up towards the top of the list as far as one of my favorites. I absolutely have loved this character and utilizing her. It's gotten to the point now where I want her all the time in everything that I do, and so I highly recommend you go after this character if you don't already have her. With that said, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. I hope your Sword of Convallaria gameplay is going really well. I hope you have gotten SP Rawiyah if you went after her, and I hope you're loving her. Let me know down in the comments what you think, what's going on with you, and if you're enjoying her. Thank you big time to everybody for supporting me, and a huge thank you to my Patreon members. Thank you so much for supporting our channel and everything we do. You make everything happen. If you'd like, get down in the description. Make sure you click on that Patreon, check us out, and give it a consideration. Join our Discord, which is also down in the description as well. We'd love to have you. We are launching a tournament here soon, and it will be a sign up that is done through the Discord. I will have that posted soon, ASAP, maybe even today. Anyways, thank you so much. Take it easy. I'm starting to feel better. Thanks for all the nice messages wishing me well. I appreciate everyone. Till next time, see you later. Bye.